Just 3 weeks from right now, Madison Square Garden will be rocking for Big East Tournament quarterfinal Thursday as the march to MSG rolls on right now on Big East Shootaround. He's Jay Alter, I'm John Fanta, and never a dull moment in this conference. No. Assume nothing this time of year.
You can't. Look at what St. John's and Georgetown are doing right now. The Red Storm on a 4-game winning streak. It's incredible.
It really is, and here's the stat that we come out with, folks, that shows you why you got to be at the Garden March 7th to the 10th. Right now, the 2 teams in the conference owning the longest winning streaks, first place Xavier, 9 straight, and the team that is at the bottom of the conference in the St. John's Red Storm, they've won 4 straight. Unbelievable.
And you say bottom because you have to. There are 10 teams. Somebody's got to finish last. But there is no bottom in the Big East. And it is going to be an all-out brawl in the Big East tournament. All 10 teams playing great basketball. Awesome.
Here it is in the fastest 2 minutes. From this past week, we start in Friartown. Something may have happened there last night. Providence welcoming in number 3, Villanova.
Anything better than Valentine's Day at the Dunk? Providence fans fired up for this one, a midweek battle. Spellman, iron kind on a dunk.
Rodney Bullock, though, the dunk party will break out for him. Ball fake, one-hand jam. Beast mode for Bullock. Friartown rocking in pink, but Villanova, not enough. Providence gets it done. Start the party on Federal Hill. It was on fire last night. You could taste it in the chicken parm. Ed Cooley gets the statement win he needs. Providence on the cusp of 5th straight NCAA tournament.
Xavier taking care of business. They call him Trey for a reason. 8 3-pointers for Trayvon Blewett and Fuego. Look, All-American, Big East first-teamer, awesome.
Ridiculous range. And you're not watching the same highlight over and over and over again. This is just Trayvon Blewett making more threes. We go to Chicago.
This was a nice back-and-forth battle between St. John's and DePaul, little Big East after dark. I'll tell you what, St. John's down 6. No lead is safe against the Johnnies the way they can score.
No, but DePaul up top. It's Struce with the dish. But then, teams on the line. Right now, Shamari Pond's the best guard in America. And it showed again last night. How about this sweet dish? Tariq Owens, the Thunder.
St. John's wins a close one, 76-75. Tied at 80. Who you going to call? Marcus Derrickson and the foul. Georgetown stuns Seton Hall.
And the Hoyas would carry it right into Hinkle Fieldhouse. Only Hinkle magic that was happening was for the Hoyas. Derrickson goes off again. One of his career best performances.
Most improved player in the conference. Georgetown wins. You practice that shot?
Watch out, folks. Here comes Patrick Ewing. Number 33 will be home in a couple of weeks, and he's not going to go down easy as we get to our fast break here. And we have to start with the Friars making a statement to the country. Providence taking down Villanova last night, and here was the scene after the game.
Couldn't be more proud with respect to how we responded as a group. And we talked about just stick together and trust and believe. You know, anything happens. We're as talented as anybody when we want to be.
Boom on 3, 1, 2, 3. Boom!
How about a happy Valentine's Day to Ed Cooley? He got what he wanted, a much-needed win against a Villanova team that is so tough to beat.
They forced 19 turnovers on the Wildcats and held them to 9 assists. That is abnormal for Villanova to do. It takes a complete effort to beat them. 5 Friars in double figures. What a performance here as we turn from Providence to Mr. Pons. Shamari Pons is getting all of the hype, and rightly so.
National Player of the Week in multiple places, deservingly so. This is the tweet of the night, though. The new Trae Young. Get out of here. Go back to Oklahoma.
Whoa.
Pons, 26 points, 10 assists, putting up video game numbers. And shout out to Ujosh Patel. This is the best thing on social media right now.
44 points. I could watch that all day against Marquette. And again, it's not one of those things where you're watching the same highlight over and over again. It's just how good Shamari Pons is right now. We're going to get to this here, folks. Who would be on your All-Big East first team? Feel free to comment below. Right now, if the season ended, who's on your All-Big East first team? Any other questions or comments, get to us here as we turn to the March Madness reveal, and the Big East has 2 of the top 4 overall seeds.
Well, we've been doing bracketology here on Shootaround for the last couple of weeks. This is what the tournament selection committee is saying, and both Villanova and Xavier on that top line, really encouraging signs from the committee as we really get into crunch time.
And how about this league? The Musketeers actually in that 3 spot overall, and they're in first place in the conference.
Well, and it really sets up that showdown for this weekend.
Right.
Between Xavier and Villanova at the Cintas Center. We're going to talk about it a lot on the show today. You're going to be out in Cincinnati for that game. And really, the winner of that game, I think, guarantees themselves a #1 seed, as it should.
Yeah. Who you got?
Right.
Xavier
Send
or
it
Nova?
in.
Who you got? Give us a pick right now. Comment below as we turn to our NBA spotlight. Where are we going for it?
We're going to your hometown, Cleveland, right?
Yes, they completely renovated the roster, but they left one good piece of hardware. His name's Kyle Korver.
Former Creighton Blue Jay, and folks in Omaha remember that smooth stroke. He's still doing it more than a decade in the league later. And the last thing to go is the jumper, right? And Kyle Korver has not lost it. 30-point game in the win against the Hawks. 7 for 13 from 3. They love him in Cleveland as much as they do in Omaha.
As my man says, Austin Carr in Cleveland, Kyle Korver, deep in the, and then when the Cavs are on the road, he goes, "Where are we, Fred?" And Fred goes, "We're at the Phillips Arena." Deep in the Phillips Arena. Kyle Korver knocking him down.
Really awesome. And, Creighton, they've got to be the best three-point shooting team, maybe in the country, definitely in the Big East, in terms of they always have a guy who can knock down the deep ball.
A feature on the Georgetown freshman coming up on Shootaround. Who you got, Villanova or Xavier? Who would be your Big East player of the year if the season ended right now? Your first team? But first, we've got some things coming up.
Yeah, Steve Lavin from Fox Sports, good friend of Shootaround. He is going to join the program, talk to John Fanta about the state of Big East basketball as we reach crunch time. And, of course, Xavier Villanova definitely going to be a topic of that conversation. So we thought, little TBT, go back to the last time these two were a top 5 matchup at the Cintas Center. #1 Villanova and #5 Xavier. Let's do it. Throw it back to the Cintas Center. It was loud then. It's going to be loud Saturday. The fans always bring it in Cincinnati. Early, Chris Jenkins doing his thing. The iron kind on the road. Nova early lead. Xavier punching back. JP Macura hooping the harm. And that will get the place going. Macura just knows how to make the Xavier team tick even back then. Xavier starting to heat up in the first half. And then Macura takes the roof off with that 3. Musketeers, comfortable halftime lead. Oh, what a scene it was. Can't wait to see it this weekend. Chris Jenkins, that ties it at 40. Here come the Cats. But then Jalen Reynolds, woo, hammer time. Love the way Reynolds played. Miss him in the Big East. Xavier wins 90-83. And we got Steve Lavin, John Fanta. Here's their conversation from earlier.
We're going all the way out to Los Angeles right now. Fox College basketball analyst Steve Lavin joins us on Shootaround. Coach Lav, Big East hoops in full swing. Conference tournament just a couple weeks away. What stands out to you about the league?
Well, I think the quality of play, also the depth of the league in terms of quality teams, and the fact that you've got a number of different styles of play that are effective. And as a result, come March, the NCAA Selection Committee is going to be putting a number of teams under the magnifying glass, looking at their body of work or their resume. And I think even when the NCAA came out this past Sunday with the #1 seeds, that's an indication of just how strong this conference is. And even if you look at the bottom of the league, Georgetown with 5 wins, Patrick Ewing's debut, his first year as a head coach in the Big East. Chris Mullen has the Johnnies rolling with Shamari Pons, putting up numbers that are electrifying and impressive wins as well when you look at knocking off a Villanova, knocking off a Duke. And at this point, St. John's will be the sleeper pick, really the favorite sleeper pick when it comes to Big East tournament, because they'll be playing on their home court. So top to bottom, just impressive basketball across the board.
The bottom of the league has really turned the conference upside down here the past week or two. Do you think that has to do with that double round robin schedule? Being a former coach in this league, when you get that second go around against a team?
I think that does lead to really competitive games. I also think when you get to February, because of the double round robin and just the nature of competitive basketball, what happens is the nerves get frayed, people are fatigued, and there's so much at stake. And so as a result, I call it the dog days of February. You also start to get some injuries because of that fatigue. And so when you play someone is sometimes more important than who you're playing. Catching teams at the right time is why you'll sometimes see some unexpected scores or some upsets. But again, that's what makes college basketball so unique, is you're dealing with 18 to 22-year-olds. And as they say, it's very cliche, it's coach speak, but we've seen it play out on any given day. A team gets hot, and Shamorie Ponds is an example. St. John's could be anyone in the country. And it's not just Shamorie Ponds, it's also Marvin Clark, the transfer from Michigan State. His approach, and Justin Simon is putting up big numbers, near triple doubles in some recent games. Tariq Owens, long, runs like a deer. He's been very productive as well. So this St. John's team could end up winning the Big East tournament. I don't think it would shock anybody.
Wow, Coach Lavin coming in hot.
Well, in the Garden, a packed MSG, and the magic of Louis Carnesecca in the stands, and having as impressive a guard as there is in the country. And then these other pieces, the transfers in Clark and Simon, put St. John's in a unique position. They've tightened their rotation. They're really only going 5, 6 deep, and that's led to a more cohesive team, playing with a better rhythm and flow. And no one's going to want to play St. John's come Big East tournament.
That cohesive unit certainly works out for a lot of teams, including the Villanova Wildcats, and the third-ranked Cats travel to the Cintas Center Saturday on Fox, 4:30 Eastern tip time, when they take on number 4 Xavier. Coach Lav, what are you zoning in on with this matchup between these two heavyweights?
Well, it's interesting that you use zoning in, because Xavier's 1-3-1 matchup zone, which gives so many different looks in terms of different rotations, and they can extend it or they can collapse it, much like a Venus flytrap or an accordion. And Chris Mack makes nice adjustments over the course of the game, not just half to half, but even from timeout to timeout. This Musketeer team has the best 8 of any team in the country. Really, they're 9 deep once Ty Jones gets back into the mix. And I think that's their big edge, not only in the Big East, but if they make a deep run and win a national title, it'll be a result of those 9 players collectively or cumulatively wearing teams down. And also with that depth, it gives the Musketeers the ability to play different ways and at different tempos. I think Villanova, because they're a little shorthanded, a little banged up, some players will be coming back, but they're not going to have a full complement of players. Jay Wright is good as anybody at offsetting and managing the challenging stretches in a season. But I think Xavier in this game has the edge because of their depth.
When you think about this conference full of stars, who are Coach Lavin's pepper pops around the Big East?
Well, that's a good question. We traditionally think of pepper pots, scrappers, like middle infielders in baseball. We think of them as being smaller and diminutive in size. But I like Sean O'Mara. In a way, he's a large pepper pot in terms of the toughness, the energy. And I just think his story, his maturation is really impressive. Early in the year, a season ago, he was a reserve that really didn't get much love or any minutes. But by the end of the year, because of injuries, a result of the attrition factor, before Xavier went on that Elite 8 run, all of a sudden, there was a new group of contributors or players that really made a difference in those impressive NCAA tournament victories. So I'll go with Sean O'Mara as a large pepper pot.
A lot of love in the air across college basketball, led by Coach Lavin. Coach, thanks so much for your time.
Always a pleasure, John. Talk soon.
This is the Big East. When you think of New York City, you think of the big stage, one of the biggest cities in the country. I think anybody that's ever been a fan of our league thinks of Madison Square Garden, thinks of the great games. I think of toughness, stand in your ground. That's what the Big East tournament has always been about. We pride ourselves on toughness. Physical and mental toughness, that's what we pride ourselves on at Xavier.
We asked for your Big East first teamers and player of the year. Man, you Big East fans delivered. John Fanta, Jay Alter at the big board. Are shoot-around fans, Big East fans, the best or what? You put out the question and boom, like that, everybody's sending them in. And it is the deepest field we've had for a Big East first team. The answer is varied and very deep.
There seems to be a general consensus on some players. So let's get to our fan submissions here. And what I think of is Brunson, Martin, Blewett, Pons. Right now, that's a big consensus. That fifth spot, interesting as we look there. Last one's super tough, Jay.
Well, let's start rolling through a couple of these. Angel Delgado appearing. Mikal Bridges is on the list. Marcus Howard. This is my favorite. I would make it a one-man team. Shamori Pons.
That profile picture is my favorite. Dave Hannon, and he says, and for some defense, Kyrie Thomas.
And how about J.P. McCura as well? Those are two guys that we hadn't even mentioned. It is deep. More than 10 guys are contending for the first team.
And when you look at the league as a whole and how deep it is in stars, I think how entertaining the games are.
Yep.
So fans say McCura, they love watching him play, and he could be a first-team player on any given night. Like, you have several guys who can play that way.
Desi Rodriguez, another one. Mikal Bridges. Marcus Derrickson getting some love. He has been really influential in the Hoya's uptick the last couple of weeks. Absolutely loaded. So we were looking at this, man, so many different submissions. Definitely the deepest the first team race has been.
We actually agreed.
We got our heads together and we agreed on a Big East first team. So let's show you what we had in store. Jalen Brunson is the no-brainer.
Hands down. Such a fantastic facilitator, creator. He does it all for the Wildcats.
Keep it rolling. Trayvon Blewett.
And I think that he's emerged now as potentially the player of the year. If I had to vote right now, I'd vote Trayvon Blewett as the Big East player of the year. Yes.
I think I'd stick with Jalen Brunson. Let's continue on the list. Marcus Foster. Folks, I think he's a lock. And we actually didn't get him in all the submissions. I think people might forget about Foster in Omaha. He is a lock.
And right now you cannot deny Shamari Pons. Someone said last night he might mess around and make the first team. Guess what? If he keeps playing this way, it could be very hard to deny him of player of the year. That's how great he's playing.
True. Keelan Martin.
Wow. Matchup nightmare.
Yep.
Can stretch the floor, can post you up, does so many things. I'm amazed at Keelan Martin's versatility.
And number 6, Angel Delgado, the best big man in the league. You cannot leave him off the first team.
You can't deny him because of the way that you have to scout for him. That's what these coaches also look at in their voting process. You have to put multiple bodies on Delgado in front of him. Xavier did a successful job of it last night, but Angel Delgado belongs on the first team.
All right, let's finish it out. One wild card that you would put in here.
I would go with Marcus Howard because this is a guy that everybody thought might take a little bit of a step back being the target, but tremendous shooter, and now has learned to drive it more. He's doing it all for Marquette. He is the guy for them and one of the top stars in the league.
I would go with Marcus Derrickson. I think when you look at what he's done to the Hoyas, he's taken them from a team that we didn't think would compete in the Big East to winning at Butler, beating Seton Hall. John, you can't deny him.
One thing that stood out to me about Derrickson, he was posting up Tyler Weidman earlier this week at Butler. Not only can he hit the three against Seton Hall, he can get physical in there. Really improved player.
See, we usually sit behind the desk.
Yeah.
You go for the full suit. I'm keeping it a little more casual with the jeans.
Real dad jeans from him today. Oh, did someone call you out?
Yeah, somebody calling me out.
Wow, for jeans.
On one of our shoot-around fans.
The wardrobe
Look,
here?
you got to keep it casual.
I'm ready for March. I'm ready for the Big East tournament. I actually have to go and get my tailor out because I need to be able to button up a little bit better, but we're going to get to that. More. Big East tournament's coming up. You have to have your suit game here.
You were just down in D.C., and the story of this Big East season, of course, has always been it's the first year Patrick Ewing has been at the helm, and he'll only ever have one first freshman class. John Fanta sat down with the 3 Hoya freshmen. Enjoy.
What was your first conversation with Patrick Ewing like?
You know, he was telling me he thought I was a real good player, and he was telling me basically that I can fit perfect here. But I seen tons of clips on him, ESPN, Sports Center. You know, I seen when he got dunked on by Scottie Pippen, of course. That was pretty funny.
I need the opportunity to play and be a Hall of Famer. I'm learning from the best, so that's basically what I really want to take advantage of.
He be yelling and saying you need to go hard, and I feel like when he talking, I feel like he on the court.
If we expect to win, we have to do everything, and we cannot keep on turning the ball over.
It is really the oldest conference in America this year with all the senior studs. You guys, you're the new kids on the block. What do you think, Jamarco, of some of the talent in the league?
I think it's the best league out of all the leagues in the NCAA, because at any night, anybody can win. You see, St. John's just beat 2 top 5 teams. So, you know, it's up for grabs every night.
I mean, I think we're all just learning how to play together on the court. We're just trying to have fun with it and also trying to win and just learning every step. So it's really paying off.
What's on the playlist for you guys? What's on the Georgetown freshman class playlist?
I listen to a lot of Migos and Shy Glizzy. Shy Glizzy is a rapper from D.C.
I like their album cover. You could almost put your 3 heads on the...
Jake, because I'm, you know, back home.
God's
Jake.
Plan?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I listen to a lot of local rappers, Shy Glizzy, Light Show, Fetro.
Who's the messiest?
Javon.
Messi.
Out of us 3, probably Javon.
Make your bed.
That's the only thing I make. Everything else is on the floor. Yeah.
Okay. Who's the most likely to call Domino's at 2 a.m. and order a pizza?
Me.
Oh,
Definitely.
he loves pizza.
Where are you getting it from?
Everywhere. Papa John's, Domino's, Pizza Hut. I even eat DiGiorno.
It's not delivery.
Yeah, but I love pizza.
It's DiGiorno. In a game of 21, the 3 of you, who's winning? I like the confidence there. Came right out, ready to go.
I'm not worried about them. I'm not worried about them.
That was fast.
He not winning.
Yeah. He said 21. Come on, bro. Like, come on.
He's posting you up inside.
He might score the least amount.
That lefty stroke, I mean, it's been turning on.
That's a shooting game. Like,
guys, he can get hot. I've seen him. I mean,
He's too little. He's too little.
He's too small?
Yeah.
Who?
You.
Me?
Yeah,
you're too small.
I win.
You're too small. Oh, let's talk NBA. One of you has met Michael Jordan, I saw.
Yeah, that was me. Yeah.
When did you meet Michael?
At the Jordan Brand Classic, I think 2014.
Jordan, like, you got to talk to him?
Yeah, at the Jordan Brand.
You wrapping them up?
Nah, I just said,
I'd be wrapping them up to you. What's up?
I did.
You just said what's up?
I said, what's up, shook my hand, good game, left.
Oh!
Fowler from midcourt, and that'll do it. What a win for Patrick Ewing and the Georgetown Hoyas. Their second straight victory. A gritty win on the road over Butler.
Have you guys watched the other games? Like when you're not playing, do you catch other teams in action around the conference?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What's the mindset here? You know, March is inching closer, the Big East tournament's inching closer.
We just gotta just basically play every second like it's our last. Everyone's doubting us, but we're really coming and we're gonna show everyone these last 6 games and in the Big East tournament too.
You can look up on the wall, see all the jerseys, just walking around campus, walking through the Thompson Center. You see all the accolades, big game wins, the trophies, and you come in here with a coach like that, and then you got Coach John Thompson in here every day. You know, it's a blessing.
The next couple of years, we're gonna, even this year, so we're gonna show the world that like we can really play.
Really fun to catch up with the Georgetown freshmen, a couple of great guys. that have really progressed here as we head to some Q&A for this weekend.
Got some great interaction. Thanks to everybody for sending the questions in. The first team player of the year discussion was great. And somebody wants to know, you said it, you put it out there, but if Xavier wins out and is the regular season champions, can you deny Trayvon Blewett as the player of the year?
I'm a big fan of, if you have the best team in the conference, the best player should be from that team. And Trayvon Blewett is beating teams in so many ways. He has limitless range. He's become Trey-ficient. That was the biggest thing he needed to do for this season.
Let me write that down.
Be an efficient player. And I've seen him grow in efficiency, Jay. I think that he's a solid defender, and this is a guy that when he catches the ball, if you give him even an inch of space, he will make you pay.
The Trayvon Blewett stat of the night from last night's win against Seton Hall, 8 threes, 0 twos.
Do not give him an opening. When he catches it, he's gonna fire, and most times it goes in.
Okay, keep it rolling. Friars beat Villanova last night. Where do they sit as an at-large, assuming, by the way, they don't win the Big East tournament from our buddy JR?
They will dance. They secured that bid last night. 2 top 5 wins. Right now in this conference, I even think that the Friars could finish up league play at 8 and 10, and I think that they'd still find a way into the NCAA tournament. John Gassaway from ESPN actually wrote this a couple hours ago, and it intrigued me. He said that right now, there's no argument. There's 6 Big East teams that will make the dance, and it doesn't look like there's really one that you would say, oh, they're in heavy jeopardy. The Providence win last night over Villanova, those 2 top 5 wins. When you hold serve in this conference and you do it against those teams, you are a lock for the tournament.
All right, as we look to March, as we look to the Big East tournament at Madison Square Garden, everyone wants to talk seeding. So let's look at the standings, and then we'll take a look at the upcoming games. The battle at the top is on this weekend. Xavier, sole possession of the top spot as it stands.
This is a heavyweight showdown. Villanova has won the last 4 Big East regular season titles. We talked about it at the beginning of the year. Could this be the year that they get dethroned? Jay Wright said he felt like it could be coming based on the competition. The Musketeers are in position. They win this game. Well, the regular season title is theirs to lose.
Okay, Georgetown, DePaul, St. John's. I want to talk about those 3. You see them as 8, 9, and 10, the quote bottom. Guess what, folks? There is no bottom in the Big East anymore because on any given night, anybody can beat anybody. St. John's has beaten Villanova. We've seen DePaul and Georgetown knock off teams on the road. I am very impressed with the bottom, quote, bottom of the Big East right now as we take a look at upcoming games.
Another look here as Providence and Butler is the matchup I have my eyes on, as well as DePaul and Seton Hall because the Pirates need to win on Sunday. That Friars-Bulldogs game, Butler has lost 3 straight. They need to bounce back.
What an awesome Fox broadcast double header with, actually it's a triple header with something sandwiched in the middle. Starts at noon and then at 4:30, Villanova and Xavier.
How about After Dark?
Yes, 10 o'clock. Marquette at Creighton. Another $1 beer night in Omaha.
And the threes will be raining. I mean, the threes will be raining
more
than
the
$1 beers were raining.
A lot of scoring in that one.
Not kidding. If they were doing $1 beers for every 3 that was hit, holy cow.
Omaha would be out of business.
Off the charts good. Your thought on, before we go, a thought on Villanova Xavier.
Yeah, I won't be out there like you will be. This game, just enjoy the atmosphere. I mean, the crowd at the Cintas Center, they do such a phenomenal job. We don't get these games with regularity. We've been spoiled. We've gotten so many. This is special. It's a top 4 matchup in conference in the regular season with the Big East title on the line. The winner will win the regular season. Enjoy it.
It's a star-studded matchup. The key for me is what Quinn Gooden does in this because he has really emerged lately for Xavier. Now can he limit what Jalen Brunson does? The Friars last night put a bunch of different people on Brunson, and they found a way to force 7 turnovers, which is so abnormal. You got to think Brunson's ready to bounce back. And the Wildcats, while they've had some health issues, Pascal, another game back, they got to utilize Omari Spellman. It's a fascinating matchup. We'll see if Villanova's defense can reclaim itself and find a way to limit Blewett and Makura, because if those guys are on at the Cintas Center, Xavier's been unbeatable at home this year. They have not lost.
We rarely see a Villanova team with a point to prove and a chip on their shoulder. You'll get that Saturday at the Cintas Center.
That's it for us. We will have more coming on our Saturday coverage of the big Villanova Xavier showdown. But we're back with you next Thursday, 1 Eastern time, with Big East Shootaround as the march to MSG continues. Enjoy the games this weekend.